And welcome to episode 140 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Darby Hellman.
And I am Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, what kind of energy are you bringing to the show today?
Gamer energy.
Gamer energy, that's right. That's right. Again, not so much gamer energy, just like dial it back a little bit. I'm bringing the sleepy energy, but we have the real gamer right here. We have the 100% professional gamer, Jeffrey, man.
Yep. What am I doing wearing this sports ball shirt?
Yep. And he does the whole show shirtless.
Yep.
We are going to talk about video games today. There's a good bit of stuff that happened this week, and I'm pretty excited. Yeah. We have a whole Xbox conference that definitely has talk, both good and bad, mostly bad, but it has lots of talk. Some crazy Nintendo sales.
Yep.
And some awesome stuff. But before we get into that, let's start this podcast with our new opening segment, which is Quarantine Rex. As you know, as you're aware, unless you've somehow been living under a rock, the world sucks, and everyone is being forced to stay in their homes, and it's a rough time for everyone. But we can all turn to video games in this dark time to fill the void. So every single week, me and Jeff are bringing games that we recommend you play or, give a shot during this quarantine, whether it's for its jolly vibes, it's like distraction abilities, it's, whatever else we think about the game that makes it a good one for this time. And I think I started last week. So Jeff, why don't you lead us away?
Okay. Game I'm bringing this week is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Woo, that's a jolly one.
That is a jolly one. Yep, a game released on the Wii U. Didn't give the love it deserved. Brought back for the Switch. Don't know how exactly it did. Probably not too great. But
yeah, I never heard much about it after that, but I heard good things quality-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, just a very jolly game all around. Very relaxing game. You just controlling the good old Captain Toad. You take your sweet time going through these levels, doing all these crazy stuff, solving those puzzles, getting those diamonds, getting all them coins and stuff.
Yeah, people say it's a shockingly it's actually like a really kind of sophisticated, just good puzzle game.
Oh yeah, really good.
Something that they didn't start as a smaller mode within some Mario game.
So Captain Toad, the character is from Mario Galaxy, but the levels where this game is based on is in Super Mario 3D World, which I played, and like a lot of people really liked those levels a lot. And even before it's announced, I was on the train of I'd like a full game of this. Then they did. I was like, okay, I'm getting this.
Oh shit!
And I did. Got a day one on the Wii U. Loved it. They haven't gotten the Switch one because $60 port with not too much added on there.
Yeah.
But I can see it be something I get at some point if I see a sale like, let me grab this. I can replay this again. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
But part of the reason I picked this is, again, just jolly, kind of cozy. And, for people, kids, this is a good one. Mm-hmm. Partly because there is co-op in it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I think for the most part, it's not like one player controls Toad and one does Toadette. I think there are some levels where you do that, but a lot of it is kind of like, I guess, Super Mario Galaxy, since I mentioned that's a good example where someone's controlling Toad and someone's using like the Wiimote or the Joy-Con to kind of move around and shoot stuff and all that.
So it's not quite equal billing between the two people.
But could be a good thing with, a kid.
Yeah. And I haven't played this one, but I like me and my sister, I enjoy kind of playing puzzle games with her, like Baba Is You and stuff like that. Like playing even a single player puzzle game with two people can be kind of fun to just like put your two brains together to figure out how to do something. Yeah. So
this one may not be as much like for you and Jenny per se, because it is more simple than like Baba Is You and stuff, because it is a Mario themed puzzle game.
Yeah.
But they do some really creative stuff. It's fun. The stuff is generally just, at least if you're going to get all the collectibles through it, things are just hard enough to where it's like, aha, and you do it, but not hard enough to where you're beating your head against the wall, really at all.
Yeah. Which maybe not even necessarily what you want in this game.
Yeah. You don't play Captain Toad to get frustrated.
No. Yeah, I haven't thought about that game in a while, but like that I think that's a good pick for quarantine. I think that's the jolliness and the probably it's structured by level, so I'm sure you could like knock a few levels out in bed.
It's pretty much I have to imagine the Switch one's just like the Wii U one, where you pretty much you have a storybook that you flip through the levels of there, and you can see what collectibles and challenges you've completed in each level or whatever, and then you can go back if you want to. It's like okay, I'm feeling kind of tired, but I don't feel like doing a bunch of new stuff. Just go back to an old level, try to get something you didn't before.
Yeah, and there's new content in the Switch one, isn't there?
Yes, there are a couple levels based on Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I think there are a couple other things as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yep,
pretty cool. Well, I'm kind of going in a slightly opposite tone and kind of the opposite direction that my first two picks have been, and I'm now finally reaching into the long ass RPG to fill your time. And I am picking Divinity Original Sin 2, which I've seen a lot of other people recommend this for quarantine because I do think, I had Shantae and Florence are kind of the jolly short game. This is the more intense, long ass game. And why I think it's so good for quarantine is like even Divinity versus a lot of other RPGs that I've played, Divinity just is so damn open and just has like so many different like branching paths and like NPCs to talk to that actually have like importance and everything. Like my original playthrough of my only playthrough, I don't know why I said original. My playthrough of this was 92 hours over the course of a long time, and I definitely did not even do everything there. People do multiple playthroughs of this, and you choose your party at the beginning from a list there's like 6 or 7 different party members, something like that, and you pick 4, and your story is completely different depending on who your party members are, because each one of them are going to have their own arc pretty much, and they intersect a lot, which is really cool. Like, because I chose these 2 specific ones together, they got in a fight and they like certain things happen, so like you can replay this game and have a completely different experience and everything. And just the combat in this is so deep. It's straight up like every game has D&D in its core. This is like straight up D&D in an actual video game, to the point where it's like, the AoE effects when you can like launch fire and it catches fire, like this whole thing. People talk about there being a bunch of different ways to take a combat encounter. This game is that on steroids, because there's just so many damn options. And I will definitely say, for anyone just jumping into this, especially if you're not super familiar with this type of RPG, which I'm not either, like this kind of hardcore computer top-down RPG, the game is brutally hard. Do not feel bad about dropping down to easy, because I did. I dropped down to easy about halfway through this because partially on this gaming podcast we're trying to play a lot of different games, especially back then there were a lot of games coming out, so I didn't want to spend the amount of time I would have had to spend, and I was enjoying the story and role-playing aspect of it so much that I did that, and it was perfectly fine for me. It made the combat kind of like became part of the role play in the story, So even if the combat's not hard, the fact that you're fighting this person is probably because you made a choice to fight them. So there's intrigue in that anyway. Yeah.
That's and people can get on the Switch so they can play on the toilet, and then put your slave onto your Steam account. Yeah,
it is important to note that Steam and Switch have cross save, which this is a very good game for. Obviously, you'd have to buy the game twice, but
there are sales.
Yeah, I think this game's on sale quite often. So I definitely this is not even like, I love RPGs, but most of the RPGs I had played before are like Bethesda RPGs and other stuff, like third person or first person running around, like Witcher, running around this or whatever. I had not really played like turn-based top-down strategy games quite like this. And it looks intimidating at first, and when you get into it, it kind of seems intimidating, but I really recommend everyone try it out. And just drop it down to easy. If you want to, you can drop it up and down as much as you want to.
Games can do that?
This game also mods. If you get into this game, look at the mods, because there are Larian is one of those studios that there's literally a mod tab in the options. Like, you don't have to do shady backdoor things. Like, they're like, here's the mods. And you can like literally go create a D&D campaign for your friends.
Oh yeah.
which it's very complicated to do, but like if you get into it, it's some cool stuff. So you could literally just play Divinity for probably 3 years straight and be just fine. So it's very, very good for quarantine if you just want to lose yourself in a big old meaty RPG. Yes, I want to play that game again so bad. So good. So good. And I want someone to talk about it with. No one plays like it.
Too many games, Derby.
I know.
I need to get back to playing The Witcher.
I know. And Persona.
Yeah. Too many
but
games.
then there's Xenoblade.
I gotta play that new shit.
I was about to call you a weeb, but I'm telling you to play Persona, so I don't really know if that makes sense. Well, Jeff.
Well, Darby.
Now that we have solved quarantine, we solved everything. Let's move on to what we've been playing this week. Jeff, yes. What have you been playing this week?
I got a new game this week, Darby. A game that shadow dropped.
Whoa, we love shadow drops.
Yeah. I got and I played some of Walking Dead Saints and Sinners for the PlayStation VR.
What the hell's that, Jeff?
It is a VR game that came out earlier this year. I guess all the PC VRs, I get them all mixed up. I don't know what's on what necessarily.
Yeah. Oculus or Vive, probably one of those two.
Yep. We knew it was coming to PSVR, but they decided like, here you go. I'm like, okay.
Like no lead up, it's just boom.
Pretty much. And yeah, this game's definitely different than I thought it'd be. It's a lot more of a straight up survival game than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And just what I've seen from reviews, it's really good. And just from the link, it's like, oh, it's actually a full length game. It's like supposed to be like 18, 20 hours just to finish.
That's cool. Yeah, that doesn't happen often enough with VR.
Yeah, especially since this game's built for VR.
So is this something that is like, are you playing as and talking to and stuff Walking Dead characters, or is it just kind of in the Walking Dead world?
It's in the Walking Dead world, which I am perfectly okay with, because just
the
idea of, this could be any zombie thing. It
doesn't
actually need the Walking Dead name. That's just the branding or whatever, which is fine. But yeah, it's just because the only thing that the Walking Dead necessarily affect how the rules of the zombies work, the whole, and it became apparently clear, like, yep, they're doing this when, because depending on what zombie thing, someone needs to be bitten by an infected to turn into one when they die. In the Walking Dead world, anyone who dies will become a zombie shortly after death.
I didn't know that. I thought you had to be bitten.
Nope.
Interesting.
That was a spoiler alert for like season 2 of The Walking Dead.
I mean, I watched 2 episodes of the
that was a twist, because everyone assumed at that point that everyone was only dying because of bites.
Interesting.
So like one of the things, you kind of make your character and you do all that. You can select a male or female character. You select their skin tone and all that. Mm-hmm. You start the game. You're talking to this old man. He's like, they're planning on doing something to get supplies and all that. Find some kind of bunker. And the little time skip, I think, by a couple days, and you're trying to meet up with him. He was ambushed by a couple factions. The game immediately does a little introduction thing that's not supposed to be technically real, just kind of a video game introduction thing. It's like, this is with like a narrator, like, this is what happening, and these are kind of the factions and kind of what they look like and what they're about, kind of thing, which was pretty neat. And yeah, the guy I talked to died. He was like tied up in a tree, and I was like, "Wait, is he gonna turn?" And like right after I started thinking, he turned, like started being like, "Oh." So I went behind him and just stabbed him in the head.
Oh, nice.
So kind of going down to the VR thing.
Did you feel the emotional weight of killing a man with your bare hands, Jeff?
Yes. Hey, he was already a zombie. So it's okay. Though I know I am going to kill actual people in this game. And what's also kind of neat, and I'm just going to be jumping around a lot with this, is that was the first time I really did it besides the tutorial. You actually made dialogue choices in this. Okay. And those will apparently affect things in the story. Well. So
are you interested in the story so far?
I'm very early on, so I haven't really gotten into the bulk of it yet. I don't think I think while there is going to definitely be the story elements, the bulk of it is the game is going to be the survival elements.
That makes sense. I mean, that's what I would be mostly concerned with anyway.
Yeah,
is how this plays as a VR game.
So you got to use the move controller. There's no regular controller. All I got to use the moves. because you need to be able to swing things and all that.
Yeah.
They do a tutorial. I'm like, you got to pick up stuff from your holsters on the side to get your weapons. And then you grab something from your right shoulder and it's an axe. So you grab for the left shoulder, it's a bag. And from the front, you got a little notebook with the map and all your objectives and your crafting stuff and all that. And the flashlight and all that.
Does all that work pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little wonky because it's PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
I'm sure it works much better on the PC ones.
Mm-hmm.
So far, things are good. And yeah, a lot, well, I can tell while you use the guns and stuff, I feel like a lot of what you're going to be doing in this is maybe not using the guns and using stuff like screwdrivers and axes and stuff to take care of things. That's at least mmostly what I've been doing.
Is it like a limited ammo, limited resources type of thing?
So they say, because I'm really early on, so I haven't seen how this is done in practice. They say things are split up in days. When you go to sleep, and that's how you save. You can only save by sleeping and going to the next day.
Okay, so
they say every single day there are more walkers and less supplies.
So really survival.
Yes, you actually gotta.
That's cool. Yeah,
so that's gonna be stressful.
Wow. Yeah. So it's a lot. The main gameplay thing is management.
Yes, and something, again, I haven't seen how this works in practice necessarily, but I do know they say beware the bells and stuff, and just kind of looking at, based on what I've seen, you got a time limit each day when you're in an area to actually explore. It's not, I have enough all the time I need to find all the stuff. No, you need to look for stuff, because when the bell rings, you're going to be overrun by like dozens of zombies.
Wow. Okay.
That's gonna be stressful and scary as hell. I know.
So you haven't like faced the swarm yet.
I have not faced a swarm. So, yeah, and it feels pretty good to like get the zombie and you gotta kind of like push them off and like when you stab them, just push them out so you can get the thing out.
That's cool.
And each thing has durability, of course.
Okay, yeah. I would think so. How does the I think you said this is the game that you said you had to move around with a stick, like you're not doing the teleporting type thing you've done in other VR games.
I'm not using a stick. I am using the kind of my head and the buttons to face a direction and press the button to go forward and backwards.
How does that feel for you?
It feels fine enough. I do feel like it's going to cause me to, even if I'm not noticing, it is to cause me to kind of feel more woozy. Just kind of in. My play times will be probably shorter than it would be potentially.
Are there like big environments that you're trying to traverse, or is it kind of?
So far, yes. The environments seem they're going to be decently sized, and you got to map it on. You actually got to explore and try to find things. It looks like.
Yeah, interesting. I bet the whole like move. Yeah, I realized now you said that. I said stick, but you have no stick on the move controllers. I bet that is definitely going to be something that makes some people sick. Like, I'd be interested to see how I do in it. I mean, I haven't gotten sick in VR in a while, but I've only been playing Beat Saber, so not really going to get sick there.
Yeah, one thing that in the tutorial that kind of warned me out to see how I do is you kind of went around and they're like, okay, this is just the basic like screwdriver thing. Just stab their heads, and for like in the axe, you gotta swing and try to go for their head, all that kind of stuff, guns or whatever. For the axe, I just kept on trying to swing, and the thing would not go in its head. I realized, oh wait, you gotta do big swings. You can't just do quick. They actually gotta do a big arc, which makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be wonkiness of things that don't register completely right, but I mean, I'm just happy to see there's a dev that's putting the time to make a 10 to 15 hour VR game.
Yep.
Yeah. And horror, is it giving you any RE7 vibes being in a first person horror game in VR?
I feel like it'll be a little of that. Again, I'm kind of early on, so I've only faced like one or two zombies at a time so far. Yeah. Nothing crazy, but when I hear the stuff about just swarms, like, oh God. And me trying to get back to my headquarters, which is a bus or whatever, and that's where you stay, you sleep, you craft, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and again, to go back to survival elements, I got the bag has limited slots. Hotel bag management, it's going to be a huge factor in this stuff. Like, what do you take out, and all that kind of stuff? What do you use to craft things, or what do you craft?
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cool game. I mean, this got pretty good reception, right?
It got very good reception for it.
Just doesn't seem like many people have tried it.
I feel like part of it might be is even though they didn't come out necessarily the exact same time, everyone as far as VR was looking at Half-Life Alyx and not really looking at anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I also feel like there's been, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like there's been multiple in the last few years, like post Telltale, there's been multiple Walking Dead games that kind of just all blur together in a lot of people's minds, and they all just kind of like, they have the Walking Dead name on them, which would make you think that there'd be a lot of eyes on them, but it kind of just becomes like, oh, it's another Walking Dead thing. It just kind of like, so at least with the people that we follow, I feel like a lot of them are like, yeah, and me, and to be fair, me too, I'm like, which one is that again? I'm like, it's another, like, you know.
Yeah, I think part of it is based on what I've seen. A lot of the post Telltale Walking Dead games have kind of been generic and not that good.
Yeah,
like this seems to be probably the best one since the Telltale games. It's completely different, but it's like it's like the only one after that I've seen people universally say it's good. At least.
That's why, like, at this point, like, it probably is still better with the name because the name is such a big name, but I almost wonder if a game like this would almost be better with a new IP name than having the baggage of Walking Dead.
No, I hear you.
It's a conversation, at least.
Especially with the fact that it is in VR, which makes it different and all that kind of stuff anyway, but it just probably for some people, and honestly to me, I just kind of saw that it was a thing a while ago. I was like, oh, this is this kind of cash grab tie-in cash grab thing. Also, something that's very interesting I like about this, based on what I can kind of tell, I think this is a couple years after the original outbreak, so things they're like, or you know, definitely settlements already settled in, and my character, because you know it's a custom character, they don't have a name, is just called the Tourist. So they just got that name somehow, so that I guess that'll be kind of cool to figure out like if there is a reason where that name came from and all that.
What's your history?
Yeah.
you just came over here for just your vacation, and you're like, God damn it, there's zombies everywhere.
Yeah, and the game takes place in a
you go to a mirror and you're actually wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and cargo shorts.
And the game takes place in a flooded it's in Louisiana, but I don't know if it's like specifically in New Orleans. New Orleans.
Yeah. Shreveport. Yep. Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's a surprising one. That's not one that we had really been talking about in this podcast, but not obviously the Shadow Drop. So yeah, couldn't predict that.
Well, speaking of Shadow Drops, we got a game announcement, Darby, and we're still in the game talk. I didn't do the news jingle.
What?
So we kind of yeah. So a new game was announced called Ghostrunner.
Ghostrunner.
We got a nice little cinematic trailer.
We did,
but at the end they're like, "Yo, demo out now."
It's like, oh, okay. That like you immediately are like, okay, I'm fine with a cinematic trailer because it's in the demo. Yep. Yeah, that like if you're gonna put the cinematic trailer, that's a good thing to go with.
And at least you know, to the trailer's credit, it. Even if it is cinematic, it does give a good idea of what the general gameplay thing is going to be. It doesn't necessarily tell, like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily know it's first person, the game's first person by looking at the trailer.
The whole Mirror's Edge parkourness about it, yeah.
But you can tell from the trailer, you're a cyborg samurai guy or whatever. You're killing things, doing fancy wall jumps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you have played said demo.
I have.
So what is this game, and should people be interested?
I think people should be interested. I think people should definitely give it a try. Although, I think it's a time thing, so by the time this comes up, it might be done. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I might be wrong.
You might just have Jeff's recapping of it.
Yeah, there are no other videos on the internet you can look at.
This is it. Don't click
exclusive.
Away. Please don't click away. How was it?
Oh, I thought it was really good. I think it was a good start to see, you know, this game. Like you said, a lot of Mirror's Edge vibes for sure, because you're just kind of running in first person. You're doing a bunch of sliding and jumping and all that kind of stuff. But another thing, you know, this is kind of more of a loose thing, and it's because the game I loved last year. It's like a 3D Katana Zero, first person Katana Zero in a way.
Yeah, I want to hear about this, because in the trailer I like see Mirror's Edge in a cyborg ninja, and I don't see anything else. I'm interested in what this is.
Or another way to put it, you're saying Genji and Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Genji from Overwatch from Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, but as far as the Katana Zero comparisons, it is a lot of, obviously you're a samurai and doing all that kind of stuff, and you're cutting down people, and like Katana Zero, one hit you're dead.
Okay, interesting.
And Also, like Katana Zero, and something I really like, because I feel like we mainly see it just in 2D games. Like, the respawn is snappy. It's like immediate.
Nice.
I was like, yes, thank you. You don't see that a lot
always
in
good, yeah.
like first person like 3D games.
Right, yeah.
So that was welcomed. And also another reason I compared to Katana Zero. It's not an exact 1-to-1 with this, but when you're in the air and people are going to be shooting at you while you're in the air, you can press the left bumper on the controllers to slow down time and move around in the air, and you shoot it's also like a little dash thing. You can hold it to kind of move around in slow motion, or you just press it and you just dash forward, which is how you make some jumps.
Okay, that's cool.
So
some super hot vibes.
Yeah, so that's why I compared to Katana Zero, because in there you slow down time and do all fancy things. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
So
what was this demo mostly just like, mostly platforming and then like some combat sections?
Yeah, just kind of going over the controls, seeing all you can do, and as you go on, combining all the stuff. You also have a grappling hook.
Nice.
So you have to, at the end, do your little platforming parkour section when you're doing grappling, wall running, jumping off the wall, grappling, and then wall running again, and then sliding. And doing a whole bunch of combining all the stuff. So I can see how later on it can get crazy. Yeah. Especially when you just throw enemies into all the mix. Because it's like Katana Zero. I'm not going to do as much Mirror Edge comparison besides the base stuff, because I've never played Mirror Edge. Right. And haven't watched too much of it played. But and the checkpoint system, so I think is really good. It's like when you die, it starts you what you feel is naturally that section of that section.
That's good.
Yeah, especially with combat sections, and it lets you know, because it does a little slowdown when you killed all the enemies in that section, which is nice. Like, okay, I can calm down for a second, because when you're in the section with enemies, you got to go fast. Like, you can't slow down. You got to keep on moving at all times.
Yeah, I have to imagine they'll hit you. With the one-hit kill thing, it's a lot more about mobility than straight-up action. It's not just like slashing hordes of people.
Yeah, and why I think this game is going to be very popular with speedrunners, assuming the whole game is as quality as this demo is. Because you find a rhythm. Like, the sections, like, I ended up dying probably more than a lot of people who played this demo, because first-person games aren't my forte, whether it's a shooter or otherwise. So trying to find the rhythm and all that, I died. And the more I died, the more I was going through it, and the parts that, I kept on getting further each time, and getting to that point was quicker and snappier. I knew what to do. It's like, okay, wall jump here, slash this guy, slow down, whatever. Yeah, and just kept on going.
I'm sure by the end, you're like stringing all those things together in like complex ways. Yeah,
exactly. Like, again, Katana Zero, the same thing, where I kind of can stumble at places, but by the time at the end of it, I'm just zipping all the way through it, which is very nice.
Like someone walked in, it's like, how do you know what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, I'm lost. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, I'm sure this game will look cool in the hands of hyper competent people who can
because I ended up finishing in a little under 20 minutes, and I saw some videos because I was curious to how long before I played it, how long do people feel, and it was like 5 minutes. Nice. Which I believe it, like, if you go through this knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds like a Mirror's Edge type thing, but with some very cool different elements to it, which a lot of people were not happy with Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and it's not like this is a very common type of game. I'm not really aware of any others, just really Mirror's Edge. So it's kind of cool, but it sounds like, the slowdown and all the one-hit KO stuff sounds cool, where it's going to be more like level-based, and like that kind of game can get almost puzzly, where it's like, okay, I need to take this down, take down 100%, this guy, do this.
No, I'm all for what this game is. The demo was great, and based on what little I've seen on the internet, people who played it are very positive on it so far. I know, like, Alana Pierce played it, and her title for her video is like, "This is great,"
nice,
that kind of thing. So getting that people like that play it is nice. So yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this game.
Nice.
You should give it a try.
I should. Did you just play it on Steam, I imagine, or PC?
Yeah, I did on Steam. I think it's only available on Steam at the moment.
Nice. PC dorks.
Yeah.
Speaking of PC dorks, we got some memes.
We have memes, Derby. So yeah, Derby, this isn't a new game like these other two. It's a decently old game.
Yes, but
even what we played is kind of what part of it we played is kind of, but we played Rivals of Aether.
But it's constantly new because the internet has free reign over it.
Yes, Rivals of Aether, for people who do not know, is a Smash-inspired game that is on Xbox and PC. And on PC on Steam. The developer's been kind enough. I mean, well, mods would be a thing anyway, but it's more of a sanctioned thing. There's actually a community thing on Steam that you can just download it on that. It even has its own client or whatever that you open up for the modded version, which is primarily what I've been playing and on to do all this stuff.
Right.
So you can download a whole bunch of characters and a whole bunch of stages free of charge.
And the internet has free reign to make stages and characters with, I mean, viewer, you don't understand how little limitations they have on these characters. Like, there are no freaking limits. There's characters that completely, as soon as you choose them, their model takes up the menu screen.
Yeah, there was 100% the character called 100% Accurate Cloud. Yeah, Dari picked it. It was this deformed kind of cloud drawing, but in the character select screen, his sword was so long it went all the way across the character select screen over the artwork for the other characters, and his sword took out half the screen in the battle.
We had one of my personal favorites was PNG of Shrek. She literally one of our friends chose it and went there. It's I wonder how this is gonna be, and she did the overbeat, and she went fly across the map. It's just this picture of Shrek. There's Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
There's freaking
and George
Costanza. Whatever you think of, there's some batshit.
Well, we gotta talk about the headliner, Ronald McDonald.
Ronald McFucking-Donald, this broken ass anime character JoJo moves.
Yeah. So while there's all of the memes and just the PNG stuff like Shrek and stuff, there are actually people that you make sprites or use pre-existing sprites from other games. Like, for example, a couple of the Naruto characters I downloaded are from a Game Boy game I used to play.
And
which
there was
is neat.
Shantae.
Yeah, Shantae from her older games.
It's a good combination of people actually making hey, I'm trying to make a good character for this. A lot of times characters that aren't normally in things like Shantae and other things like that. It's hey, that's really cool. It's a combination of that and then just batshit crazy, unbalanced meme stuff.
Yep.
And if you're just looking for it to have fun with your friends, I don't think this game is very expensive. And
it's $15.
And then all the mods are completely free, and you can download as many as you want. It's ridiculously easy. Jeff just went out of it when we downloaded some more and it went back in. He had over 100. It's crazy. And if you just want dumb fun with your friends, we were cackling, dying on
for one thing that me and our friend Olivia didn't know till later, our friend Alex was playing and he selected Ronald and was going through his character colors. Then at some point when you got to the end of his character colors, apparently it made a noise or whatever, and his thing just went dark.
I was paying attention. Alex was going through the different things, and it made this drill, or this crazy static noise, and everything went dark. And Alex just looked at me, and we're what just happened? And we went to the match, and instead of normal Ronald, it was Ronald with this crazy glowing stuff on him, and all of his moves were creating these supernova god shit.
And then he had and something that's really cool just in general is people can add meters to characters that, not that's just specific to them. Even the regular Ronald had a super meter that built up, and then be able to do this really OP super attack that if it hits you can just wipe everyone else at stock. Ronald had this and killed everyone, but in the end exploded and killed himself.
Yeah, I think he can't win. It's impossible for him to win, but he is God. And just to end it off, to show you really, if you don't quite understand how little limitations people have in these characters, there is a character that is Tetris.
Yes.
You literally play Tetris. Yeah. You choose this character, and then at the bottom where your health normally is, there's a little Tetris game, and you're playing Tetris. And depending on how you do in Tetris, you damage people.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give this one example. I'm gonna give this one example for the non-crazy / mean characters. For people who may want this example. This is gonna be my go-to example. For people who might just want to try a bunch of cool characters to play Smash that aren't in Smash. Yeah. Ditto is a character in this game. It has an experience meter that fills up for a little thing. And each of his moves are it transforming into a Pokemon and doing a move.
Yeah.
But a lot of those Pokemon, when you start out, can evolve. When you get the experience meter up to a certain level, those Pokemon do evolve, and those moves become stronger.
That is a really cool concept.
I wish that was a Smash game.
That would be so cool. That would be so damn cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and some of it's more basic, like I mentioned Naruto earlier. It's like a basic Naruto moveset, but it's cool to have them in there to just fight people and all that, and like Shantae and all that kind of stuff.
You finally have your anime Super Smash Bros. Crossover that everybody wants.
So with this stuff, I don't know how. I mean, it's obviously not going to be completely balanced throughout the whole thing. That's the way it is. But you get the best of both worlds between nice, cool character ideas just to play kind of a normal Smash game. It's Raw Aether. It's like core gameplay is very, very solid. I'd say it's one of the best of the Smash inspired games that I played personally. And then obviously the other aspect of the meme characters, have lots of fun with those.
PNG.
I love we can just kind of throw those together and it's great.
Yeah, we had a fantastic time, and we definitely didn't even get to like. Yeah,
we will 100% do it again, and we will definitely do a stream of it.
And like that's probably one of those that you could play it and then give the community a few months and then come back and there's going to be a bunch more. Ridiculous things.
200% decrepit Falco.
It's lots of fun. You need to go check it out. We need to stream it. Yeah, we need to stream it too because it's just too much gold. Not too. All right. Well, with that, Jeff, let's get into the news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
While you introduce this, I'm going to go get me a Pepsi because I need to wake up, Jeffrey.
They may not be cold. I think I just put them in that long ago.
Never mind then. That was loud. I'll just persevere.
I'm sorry, Darby. Please forgive me. Yeah, let's talk about that there. Inside Xbox that was there to introduce next-gen gameplay.
Whoa. So we're going to see a lot of like people actually controlling their character and being in the game with like HUD and shit, right?
No.
Actually, it's going to be mostly cinematics and then a few in-game shots with which apparently is the same thing as gameplay nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah. This is something I mean, just before you get in there, like just generally talking like about the thing. Like I definitely like I'm not to be completely clear. I'm not really going out here to like plant my flag and be like on Xbox's corner. Like this was one of the most like mismarketed events I've seen in a long time.
They even apologized about it later.
Did they?
Yeah, I can pull up the quote just real quick. Can you continue talking?
This was straight up like this should have just been something that was kind of dropped like an Inside Xbox, and for an Inside Xbox it was cool. And honestly, even for promoting the console, I got value out of it because I watched it and I was like, okay, a lot of these visuals do look great. I mean, there's a lot of like really cool enhanced stuff. Even seeing like the Tales type game, it almost looks like, oh, this looks kind of like Tales but next gen, you know. Which
I was going to say about that later, Darby. Little extra tidbit for that. That might get you interested.
Nice. But so like I got value out of this. I don't think that this is just an absolute dumpster fire with no value like some people are saying. Again, not defending it either, but like, you know, I'm just saying, and maybe part of it is I got all the hate, and then I watched it, but I still came away like I'm excited for next gen, and this ticked up that meter a little bit, but it did not deliver what it was supposed to.
Yeah. For us, I'll just say what Aaron Greenberg said on Twitter, just kind of, and this is a. Let's see here.
It's on Twitter.
Yeah. Reply to someone. Just kind of someone who tried to defend all this. I mean, that came out worse there. Whatever. I'll just read the quote.
Okay.
Had we not said anything and just shown May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions might have been different. Clearly, we set some wrong expectation. That's on us. We appreciate all the feedback and can assure you we will take it all in and learn as a team. Which I generally agree with. I think we both kind of said like if they just market this as the Inside Xbox, people would generally feel better about it.
Yeah, I think they part of it was them underestimating just how many eyes you mentioning next gen brings. I mean, Sony just learned that with Mark Cerny's thing. Like when you have not yet had a next gen presentation, and then you say road to PS5. people are going to fucking come. People are going to like that's what people want to see. So when it's actually like, oh wait, there's too many, like, you aren't all supposed to come to this. This isn't the main thing. Like, what are you doing here? Leave. Like, that's what it felt like with Sony. And like Sony had to deal with that whole like kind of controversy. And I think Xbox, this is another example of them like not kind of underestimating how much hype that will bring. It's partially that, and partially also they kind of knew what they were doing with this. I mean, some of the messaging that they did, like, a lot of times I think video game people can overreact, and I'm like, okay, y'all read way too much into what was being said here. Yeah. Like, this is y'all got hyped way too much. I don't think this is one of those circumstances. I think they kept saying, we're gonna show you, next gen, it's gonna be gameplay, especially Assassin's Creed is like unforgivable.
Yeah, I do think with the gameplay, they definitely should have left all that stuff out of there, and the whole Assassin's Creed is its own plan, is its own thing, which we'll get to. But as far as setting expectations, I guess for the games that were there, not really much they could do about that. I mean, it was true that they told the truth in next gen stuff. These games are going to be on next gen. Yeah. And I know people people said they could have set expectations for the kind of games to be there, but I'm going to defend the big corporation here. It's like, how could they do that necessarily? The only way you can really do that, and this obviously this kind of happens a lot, is throw your partners that you did get under the bus by calling them small.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing. I mean, there's examples like such as like Nintendo Direct Minis. Yeah, they have zero build up or anything. It's just like there. Like, I'm not even saying that it had to be that exactly, but like there are ways to market things less without saying, hey, yo, this is not very exciting, you don't need to get excited. I mean, you can just like, I think a better way would have been like, to just announce like, or probably to announce, I mean, if I'm wrong, wasn't this announced before the whole we're doing an event every month thing?
Yes.
I almost feel like it should have been the other way around, where it's like, we're going to have something every month or whatever. And then there was a way to not build this up so much as like the next gen
I think part
crushing of the thing.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they announced it when it did before the 2020 thing is because Assassin's Creed announced their thing. They wanted to attach that, to that, because it was like right after.
I would say just announce the 2020 thing up there with it, but I don't know. It's not easy, but this was avoidable. Like with some of the wording that they did, I think it was avoidable.
All they had to do is not say gameplay like they did like 100 times. Yeah, honestly,
not that much has to change for this to probably not have that negative of a reaction, because again, the actual presentation on its own, like everything in a vacuum, I think is fine. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's actually one of the better inside Xboxes, probably the best. I mean, it's just video game like no company has completely nailed it. Nintendo's the closest, but no company has completely nailed how to message these things. And like me and you talked on our own, part of it is because there are people at Xbox or at Microsoft whose actual salaried job description is to hype these things up. Like that is their job. So it's kind of hard to tell them like, hey, do your job less, because Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they're not new to this game. You gotta realize what's gonna happen with this. But that being said, let's get into the actual meaty content of this thing.
It's gonna go in the order of presentation. Let's see. Yeah, feel free to go and get a drink if you want to. Okay. Let's see. First one, Bright Memory Infinite from Playism. One person in China. Started the conference, and it is coming to Xbox Series X and Steam. It also it kind of has a playable demo, early access thing on Steam right now that's been out for a little bit, and I do believe it was announced that if you buy the early access thing, you do get the full the Bright Memory Infinite when it does come out, and the early access thing is only $10 right now.
You do what now? I'm sorry. You get there's a
early access demo, whatever thing called I guess it was called Bright Memory on Steam right now. It came out earlier this year, I think. It's $10.
And you get the game if you...
Yeah, you get Infinite if you bought that already. And it's still up as far as I looked to see if we're still there. And so people know, here $10. Bright Memory, I think, is like an hour.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a short one-man project that got more popular than the guy expected, so he's decided to make a full game out of it.
Which is cool.
Yep.
It's always cool. I mean, I remember looking at that, I was like, this is one person?
Yeah. And I think it was also kind of going into the gameplay thing and kind of not being what we expected. This trailer started like we kind of expected this thing, or based on what we heard with gameplay or whatever. It's like, because this whole thing is gameplay all the way through. One straight there was no HUD or anything. But it was from start to end someone playing a level.
Right. It made you think, like, when you started this, it's like, okay, yeah, gameplay. Yeah. And then it proceeded
and how
to be
good it looks like next gen gameplay.
And then that proceeded to kind of be the only one of these that kind of actually stayed true to to that whole gameplay thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I definitely think it looked cool, and unfortunately it was maybe too good of a start as far as the gameplay conversation.
The game looks neat. I'm sure the sales for the regular Bright Memory have skyrocketed. Just people are just curious about it.
Yeah,
being as cheap as it is.
100%.
Second game, Dirt 5 from Codemasters, coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X through with smart delivery going on, whatever. So you can get both at the same time, or buy one, you get the other.
We're learning more and more that is not just a blanket thing. It's a game by game. You gotta see.
We'll get to that. And PS4, PS5, PC, Stadia, and it's coming in October. I don't think we have much to say about this game in particular.
Shall we move on?
The more interesting about this is the coming in October part.
This is that one.
Yeah, I don't know if they ran back on it. They might have, but when the actual Dirt 5 / Codemasters account actually posted about the game, they listed all these platforms, and without separating the next gen and the current gen, it said of out in October. That could have just been them being mistaken. I haven't seen people run with as much, so they might have went back on it, and I just haven't seen anything.
Yeah. It's a hard one. I mean, like you said, it could mean that it's coming out on current gen in October and next gen later. But that would be a little weird to come out on current gen in October and then come out on next gen 1 month later.
Yeah.
It would be a little odd. I don't know. Where do you lean on that? Or do you think that was actually a mess up?
Well, either way, it was a mess up. Whether it's true or not, it's one thing.
So was that just on their website? It wasn't in this conference, right?
It was on Twitter because they're not going to talk about the I don't think they actually said October in the conference. Yeah, the wording is coming to PC, current gen, and next gen consoles from October 2020. Also in Google Stadia in early 2021. The from
was from mean.
I think I did see some people say the from means it could be kind of starting then. Just a weird way to word it. So it may not be all in October. It's still weird.
That's odd.
So I guess for now, we can just go with it's nothing.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, the tweet's still up, so I'm going to go with it's nothing.
Yeah, because people have been talking about it, so probably not.
Yep.
All right.
Next
Cut
game.
off the alarms.
Yep. Next game. A game we kind of been hearing for a while there, like every week for who knows how long.
Can you hit it? Can you hit that?
Score!
The atmospheric. I wonder if I could do the whole thing where further down.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox Series X and PC. It's just going to be next gen.
Just next gen, which is interesting because this game's been in development forever.
Yeah, I think because it's been forever, maybe at some point they were just like, okay, let's kind of restart and just focus on the next gen.
And the fact that it's only Xbox and PC, it was probably just being made for PC anyway, which
then Xbox
doesn't have gens, obviously.
Yeah, and Xbox that looks pretty neat. You want to put it on a console?
I'm like, sure. Yeah. Which this is another one that nothing about this is gameplay at all. Obviously, this is just the cinematic trailer. But throwing that whole thing out the window, there are definitely some very cool things, like the imagery and just the like designs of this weird like sci-fi horror stuff is very like unsettling and cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll just kind of go into the imagery of it because I watched Easy Allies podcast on the video and you watch it audio. I've seen actual gameplay of it. It's all like for every week.
Yeah, I've never seen this game.
Yeah, so it's a first-person shooter.
Which again, that's the disappointing thing, is this game's been in development so long, it gets this crazy good opportunity
re-reveal trailer
at this Xbox, but you still, if you're watching this, you have zero clue that that's a first-person shooter. You have no clue.
Yep. And the guns are a freakish thing. They're like flesh guns that you put weird bullet things in.
Lots of weird body horror in the thing.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. That trailer almost feels like a very early reveal trailer when it's not, or at least shouldn't be.
Yeah, I try my best to put in when I can find kind of release information on any of this stuff, but I couldn't find anything. I didn't see anything for Scorn.
Yeah.
Next game, Chorus Rise as One from Deep Silver. It's going to be on the Xboxes with smart delivery, the PlayStations, the PC, the Stadia in 2021.
This is a game that I feel. So if you watch the Xbox thing, this is like the space one with the lady, the girl in the ship and stuff like that.
It's non-furry Star Fox.
Yes, that. I think this game will probably be cool and be good just from the visuals and from what we've heard outside of it, where apparently like the ship is a character and there's a lot of cool stuff you've found outside of it. I don't think this is a very good reveal trailer because it focuses way too much on like the story and this character and almost acts like it acts like you're supposed to know this, so that it's like, oh, look at all this stuff or whatever, whereas like I think this game really should have sold you on like the game first. And this is something that we've talked about in previous podcasts, where I feel like so many, especially smaller devs, fall into the bad rabbit hole, like the bad just practice of like they get too heads down in their game and they're like, our story is amazing, that they like make their first trailer and it's just cinematic and it just shows these characters and everything, and they're like, isn't this cool? But like we as viewers are like, what is it? What is the game? Like, I don't know this character, so it comes across as more confusing than something that would sell me. And that's what, like, to me, this trailer kind of like, I just felt like it's like, all right, cool, what is,
At least they showed some what is obviously gameplay, but yeah, go into like, why is this space combat special? Like, why should we care about this?
You're coming into a crowded market with this game,
Yep. No, I agree with you. I wish they show more of that because I could be into that kind of thing. And but I get what they're going for because it's kind of their one spotlight or whatever, and it kind of was showing. It did show that it was space combat and all that kind of stuff. You had the ship and all that stuff. Yeah. But I also get why they would want to show that it also is more than that. It actually has it'll actually have story elements that it will focus on. But kind of what you're saying, a better way to do it, I think, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, because again, it just kind of acted like it was like, oh, look, it's her. Yeah. But it's like, and I still I'm looking at it. I still don't really know, is it like just ship combat? Am I doing other things with this? It's just,
I gotta fit. Maybe probably, since that's all they showed as far as what seems to be gameplay. Yeah, which will be fine as long as it's good.
Yeah, it's just
Star Fox fans be hungry.
I mean, kind of like, I think on the Easy Alice podcast, they said it well, where Ian was talking about, like, if you're like a gameplay centric person, a story trailer is not gonna sell you or whatever. Whereas the other way around, if your story, you can, like, I think you bring people in with the gameplay and then keep them in there for the story, or yeah. Because if you're someone who really just cares about gameplay, you're going to see this trailer and be like, and move on.
Well, let me tell you about a trailer that does not appease gameplay or story people. The Madden trailer.
I mean, felt like half of that trailer was old Madden.
Yeah.
Like, showing Madden 3
I got
years.
scared. Like in my reaction was like, oh no, they just gonna waste all this time just going through the history of
for
Madden.
the next 15 minutes.
Oh my god. When others did it was like a 2-minute thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Madden.
And then they had Patrick Mahomes going through like, yeah, you know, Madden's great. It's gonna be on Xbox Series X. They kind of said in his speech he said it's pretty much having smart delivery, but it's not, which is the main thing we're going to talk about here. And as far as platforms, I couldn't see where it technically said platforms. I think it's just going to be safe to assume next-gen consoles and whatever the other consoles Madden usually is on. If you're a Madden fan, you know.
Yeah. It's Madden.
Yeah.
That's not the important part.
But they pretty much in the conference said it was going to have smart delivery. That's the way they said it.
Yep.
But there is a major, major caveat. And even in the Xbox Wire article I have in our doc, under each game they have a little star that says smart delivery. They do not have one with Madden, which good on Xbox for not trying to be like, this is technically smart delivery.
Yeah, Xbox like, our hands off. This is EA's problem.
Yeah, and press releases and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to read the quote that's important. As far as smart delivery were related to it, must purchase the game on Xbox One before December 31st. So you have like maybe 2 months to buy it.
Right.
And then redeem your upgrade on Xbox Series X by March 31st, 2021. So you got to buy Madden before the end of this year, and you got to make sure you have a Series X by the end of March.
Right. So it's kind of not really there. You still have to buy your next gen thing at the launch window and everything. It's like, no, it's fucking obnoxious. It's like, this is like, I think this is clearly showing why the whole cross-buy, cross-buy and some backwards compatibility is not just a blanket thing, because there's going to be big companies like EA that are saying like, no, we make too much money. And like they must have the right to say no, you know, it's their game.
No, well,
so which is it's just so fucking obnoxious.
I knew it was not going to be a blanket thing. Like there was going to be like the devs actually had to do something about it, like make some kind of agreement. It's not going to just be you just insert the disc and woohoo, you have it.
That's how
I wish. I wish.
Yeah.
But I figured. Sony said that's not the case, and I just assumed, even if they haven't directly said it. Microsoft, the way they talk, kind of like, okay, you can interpret them as saying, like, not every game's going to have it, but they just didn't straight up say it, because why would you?
Well, now, I don't know about you, but now I've come back down to I think they're both going to be identical as far as backwards compatibility is concerned. I think it's going to be like most of the games, yes, but some of the games, no, because like I bet this Madden thing will probably do the exact same thing on the PS5, you know, unless they signed a different deal with them. I mean, that's just the whole
I'm going to go with probably no, because based on this, Xbox has the marketing rights, so if anything, Xbox could be the one that even has it in even this window and PlayStation doesn't.
I mean, maybe.
If anything, this could have been Xbox being like, "We'll give you this little extra money if you do it this period."
I don't know. The whole thing is just icky and gross. I hate it.
So not surprising, EA is the first one we hear about doing this.
It makes me mad because these companies are like, they're not willing, even though it's so obvious that the backwards compatibility, like, it's there. You're literally offering it for a few months. It's not like it's hard to do. That used to be the stupid adage. There's like, oh, it's too hard. It's like, you literally had Epic over there in Rocket League saying like, we could flip.
We can just flip that switch if you want us to.
with all these different like cross-buy and cross-play and all these different things. Like, so it's obvious it's there. It's just they're not willing to do that, and like that's going to be the case. Like EA is not going to be the only one doing that, and like I don't know. That is a bummer. That is a huge bummer. And the thing that makes me mad about it is that they're not doing it, but they still want the clout for doing it. Basically, they still want to go out here on this presentation and be like, "Hey, smart delivery," but you gotta get it. But you better get it in the few months. For a few months, it's like, come on.
You got these two different windows you got to do things by.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah, I agree. Next game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 from Paradox Interactive, coming to the Xboxes with smart delivery going on, PS4 and PS5, and PC.
Weird trailer, but I think this is the most polished and presentable that I think this game has looked to date.
Yes.
Like, it looks like a real ass, like, AAA-ish game, you know, which has me excited.
Yeah, it was playable at E3, which I was reminded by Ian Hink from Easy Allies. They played it, and he was, because it was supposed to be out by now. I don't know if you remember. Or around this time frame. That was the original time frame they gave last E3. But Ian reminded me. He said at times like, "You're not gonna hit that," and he's glad they're not hitting it because he figured it needed more polish. And I agree with you. This is the most polished I think it's looked, because this is one of those trailers where a lot of it was cinematic-y, but you got those little hints of gameplay.
Yeah, it looked in engine, at least for most of it. Which, you know, for this game, I'm just wanting to look like how those models look, how does everything else look. You know.
Yeah, I wish frequent guest Jacob Hamill was here so he can give his reaction, because in our little text he was not as hot in this trailer as I think we both are.
Yeah, and I definitely got what, like, I talked to him a little bit. I definitely got what he meant about, like, kind of the tone. I mean, I kind of forgot. I honestly had kind of forgotten until someone mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, the weird face pulling thing. That was this trailer. That wasn't some other game, you know? Because, like, that whole thing starts off with it, and then it kind of just goes into, like, the game and like the world and everything. Like, that's the part that I remember more. But there's definitely some, like, weird, like, dark for dark's sake tone in this trailer that is just a little, like, and I definitely, after we had watched it, my take on a lot of this was, I think that they were kind of having, like, a, you know, cheeky, like, oh, everyone's, like, backstabbing each other and stuff because they want, I think in a lot of ways this trailer is to appeal to a mainstream audience of, like, this is an RPG and it's all about, like, vampires killing each other, like, you know, it's just, this trailer seems very surface level as far as tone, which it almost kind of needs to if it wants to break out of the niche that it's in. But I still have faith that I think that the game itself is still going to be very like, you know, people talk about the subtleties and stuff in Vampire the Masquerade and how it, like, it goes places in story and everything. I still think all that's true. I think this trailer is kind of a PR person saying, like, listen, guys, y'all are spending a lot of money on this game. Y'all ain't getting it back unless we get unless we get 14-year-olds to go buy this.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because for everything it sounds like, that stuff feels like it seems to be there. Nothing that says it isn't. No. And the people that could be brought in from this trailer could still like it for those reasons once you get them in. And yeah, if you're going to get on an Xbox thing, especially with how many people viewed this thing, it's probably a good kind of trailer to go with. I think so. Though at the beginning, I was like, is this a Joker game?
So they straight up a Joker game. The guy came out there, it's like, he looks like Jesse Eisenberg. Sure, he's Joker. I know he didn't play.
Well, even before we saw his face, I was like, he kind of from behind looks like he could be the Joker from the movie. They go that route, and just the way the smiling faces and all that. I don't know.
Joker the movie, the game.
Yeah, I've been interested in this game since last year when we saw some stuff, but it's kind of games like, oh, I kind of like this trailer because, like, okay, this game will have some kind of silly, it's not gonna be straight dark all the time, all that kind of thing, and that could have just been for me just not really knowing much about this game, worrying about that, but. Yeah.
This is kind of one of those games, like, the reason I'm interested in it is because I've heard people talk about, like, you make so many different decisions and you can play 100%. It in so many different ways. Like, this is the type of game that I think is going to sell to us so much more in, like, a cyberpunk-esque, like, here's an hour of gameplay.
Yes.
Here's just someone playing through an hour of gameplay. That will sell me so much more than this. Yeah. And I still have faith. Like, I really think that this was we got to present you in the best light for the most amount of people because it looks like a lot of money is being put in this game. Probably a lot more than the original one.
100%.
So they're going to try to make this like day one people are buying their Xbox and buying Vampire. They want this to be like a RPG that people are like, you know.
There's an important thing that when you're talking about day one, No release date. Despite the fact it was supposed to come out now, we got no window or anything. So they just might be afraid to put something on there.
Maybe.
Right now. Don't know if that means there's any problems or like, hey, we're you know, like you were saying, putting money in it. It's like, okay, we're doing more of this game. We thought we need more time. So let's put more money into it. Just go down and don't do anything until we're ready.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those games because it does have such a cult following. Those people are going to be in the moment it's announced, and for other people who aren't in that cult following, it's just when it's ready and it's ready, people will be fine as long as it looks good and appealing.
Yeah. Yep. There's definitely going to be a game that is trying to. I sense a game that's trying to expand its user base a lot. It almost like a Witcher type thing, where like Witcher 3, Witcher 1 and 2 were pretty niche, or Witcher 3 is like we going out there, we like branch.
I also sense the game. I can see me and you just devouring.
Like if this game is right, and what I've heard people talk about the original, if I get that, but in a kind of more modern, stable, functional, modern package, like it sounds phenomenal. It sounds great. Yeah. Yep.
Selfishly, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping, part of me, that it's not going to be like at console launch, because it's just sounding more like there's so many games around that time, and probably more than I'm interested in.
Some that we don't know about yet.
And this game's obviously going to be long as hell.
Yep.
Next game, Call of the Sea from Raw Fury. It's going to be on the Xboxes, Smart Delivery. Going to be on Game Pass day one, and PC.
Which one was this?
This is the more artsy one where you're the girl talking, and the end she's a mer person.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember that. Yeah,
I forget her name, but fun fact: the person who voices the girl from Firewatch.
Cool. Well, she was very good.
Yes.
This
game looked neat, especially as a Game Pass game. It'll definitely one I would keep an eye on. Trailer was nice, but again, not a crazy amount. Well, I guess. It was cinematic, but I guess I think most of it was actually gameplay. You were just kind of walking around a little bit in this one and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics of this one. This one's a little more cloudy in my head. Yeah.
But it looked neat. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yes.
Next game, The Ascent from Neon Giant and Curb Digital on the Xboxes with Smart Delivery and PC.
PC.
Don't know what to say about this one. Look neat. Obviously the Cyberpunk vibe, the isometric combat stuff.
Because everything had Cyberpunk vibes in this freaking trailer.
What's cool is, I can't remember if it was apparent in the trailer, but it is co-op. Which got some people very excited.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about this one either. The next one I'm more excited about.
Yep. The Medium from Blooper Team. It's going to be on Xbox Series X with Game Pass and PC, and it's coming holiday 2020.
I think this is probably my favorite trailer of the show. I think this one was immediately very interesting with, like, obviously it's like a horror game, but it had like I don't know, there's just something about it. It had my interest like the entire time, and like,
oh yeah, psychological horror, let's go, baby.
Like, I'm always like, psychological horror is where I get into horror in a lot of ways, and this just seemed like it had enough like weird things going on that I dug it.
We got a couple more details that we can that came out kind of afterwards. Where is the thing that I have? Where is it? Okay. Horror game made by Blooper Team. You play as Marianne, a medium, and you can see two different worlds: the real world and the spirit world. Takes place in Krakow, Poland. No loading screens between switching worlds. So
that's interesting.
And also, at least it's the soundtrack is a collaboration between Blooper Team's own oh god. I'm going to say Ark Wachowski and Akira Yamaoka, of Silent Hill fame.
Yeah, which that's very big.
Which they pointed out during the Inside Xbox, which it's funny seeing some of your actors like, it sounds like Silent Hill. Then they say that's like, okay.
That's why. Obviously that's a big get.
Oh yeah.
Very, very big get for a horror game, especially.
Yeah, this is the Blair Witch devs, which
I didn't know that. Yeah. That's cool.
I can't remember how people react to Blair Witch.
I think we had the same conversation in the podcast not too long ago. We're like, oh yeah, that. I wonder how that was.
Yeah. But people seem excited. I'm very excited for this, and it kind of being just straight up next gen kind of makes me happy. Just seeing a couple of those at least.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on PC, so we'll be able to play it that way. The thing is that, I wish they would just go ahead and say for this stuff.
69 noise for Blair Witch.
Is it just on console Game Pass or both?
Yeah.
Like we know it's definitely on console because this was all about the Series X.
Yeah.
So the question is for us, is it going to be on PC?
Yeah, I wish there was slightly more of an easier differentiation between the two.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to look further.
Yep. At least for me, with Call of the Sea, it's going to be on Xbox One.
Well, I want to hear your tidbits for this next game.
Next one, Scarlet Nexus from Bandai Namco. I think a much needed kind of style game because a lot of these games were kind of dark and creepy.
Yes.
So we needed anime. And it's
anime comes to save the day.
As always. It's going to be on the Xboxes with smart delivery. It's going to be on the PlayStations, and it's going to be on the PC. It's about anything a normal Bamco game is on.
Yeah.
So yeah, this game, a lot of people, it gave Astral Chain vibes, which I get because you're an anime police boy with special powers. In this case, you're a sidekick and you move around a bunch of shit. Yeah. It became very apparent. You just all these times you're swinging around to hit people if you're like moving a fucking train into someone. I'm all about that shit.
It looked cool, yeah, and even art style wise looked very Astral Chain. It looked better, but it reminded me of the
I saw
style.
Some people, and I agree with it to a point that this looks like most other JRPGs from this gen. I agree with the backgrounds pretty much. I think they're maybe a little higher quality than most. Not extensive. I think the character models, especially the main characters, are better than a lot of the anime.
Yeah, I definitely got there was.
And with animations and stuff.
A lot of next gen is going to be more subtleties than outright look at this thing.
Especially at first.
Right. And I think this had some of the I guess I've just played enough of Tales of Berseria and stuff with you that I'm looking at. I'm like, yeah, this looks like the backbone of that kind of thing, but it's but the lighting looks so much better, and just there's details and everything. Whereas
and just the expressions
had,
on the even on the main character's face.
Yeah.
So speaking of Tales, this game is being developed by a bunch of former Tales devs.
Oh boy,
particularly Tales of Vesperia.
Okay. I was about to say, are you gonna bring me home with the Tales of Zillion 2? The devs, I'm here we go.
I think they particularly said Vesperia because that's kind of the newest thing with the definitive edition. But I think a lot of the Vesperia team might have worked on Zillia. I might be wrong on that though.
Nice. I mean, it makes sense because they're both great. So great people working great games. Just looking at this, a lot of the environments I think look. I mean, it's not as overtly next gen or whatever, but it's a style.
It's cross gen, so.
Right? It's a stylized thing, but it has a lot more detail than I would expect.
Well, even just the floating little triangle things, kind of nicer than a lot of current gen stuff does.
Oh, we are gone. There we are.
You're always gone.
Oh, we were never here.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's more subtle, but I would tell people to look at this and then immediately go look at some of the games that you say that it looks exactly like, and I think you're definitely gonna see like you said those models, the models look way better than a lot of the anime
just
games
kind of animation, and just the animation of the models and kind of stuff. And when I'm saying all this stuff, I'm mainly comparing it to other Bamco anime games, which what for this stuff we should be comparing it to, I think.
Right. I mean, I'm mostly comparing it to all the Tales games I've seen, even the most recent ones, and it's this. I wish Tales games look like this.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that they're some people point out Bamco seems to be doing the kind of anime version of popular games genres, or at least the very anime version, and then now they're just going for the character action game.
Hardcore, because it is kind of funny that, I mean, I know it's not all Bamco, but it's kind of funny that we have this Astral Chain and
Code Vein
and the Square Enix thing. What was that freaking game? Babylon Fall.
Oh yeah,
there's 4 different anime action games all around the same time, which is kind of
Keep my eye on this one. We will see how it goes. Next game, second extension from Systemic Reaction, going to be on the Xboxes. And I'm going to have smart delivery and PC. It's a game where you kill a bunch of mutant dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Yeah, didn't look exactly my thing, but it looks kind of cool.
Shall we move on?
We shall move on.
Yakuza Like a Dragon, baby!
Hell yeah, this is where it is.
This is where it is. It's going to be on the Xboxes, has smart delivery and all that. Going to be on PS4. Technically, it's not been announced for PS5, but it's going to be on PS5. And PC is what is confirmed. Trailer was dope. This is probably the most excited I got during my reaction for all this.
Yeah, didn't get to see a ton new that like at least like here's a new pillar to the thing, but it was just like kind of more of the vibe and the
So with this trailer, it's interesting.
Cool.
I think this is technically the first time them saying it's coming to the West.
Is it really?
So like all the trailers that we've seen have been Japan only trailers. So that's why this stuff a lot of the stuff is stuff we've already seen before in other trailers.
Oh, okay.
It's because it is stuff we have seen, and of course it's out in Japan.
I was about to ask, is this game actually out?
It came out in January, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's been out for a little bit, and reception has been really good, I believe. Which is nice. The one thing I will say about this trailer, which just going back to maybe not showing as much gameplay as they should, is a theme in this, is you can't tell from this trailer that it is a turn-based game.
Yeah, that is a problem. Yeah, because we know, but if you didn't, you'd be like, "Oh, cool, New York."
Rewatching, there was sometimes like, okay, you kind of see. You can look at some of the way they move, like the shows the turn-basedness, but if you don't know what it is, it was just like a beat 'em up like all the other ones.
Well, didn't they even have a guy talking after they showed the trailer? At the very least, that guy should have been like, and we're excited to introduce this new turn-based combat system into Yakuza. It should have been something, to show that.
But I think, besides that, I think overall really good trailer. Get into the vibe of Yakuza show. The kind of serious part in the beginning with the story, and the story is pretty interesting and cool in its own right. And then you get to the crazy batshit insane stuff that people love Yakuza for.
Yep.
And I think I'm definitely going to get this one even before playing the other ones, because this one seems to be more up my alley just anyway. And just based on everything it is, there are going to be obviously some references we don't get. Yeah. But this is far removed because they're not even putting 7 in this. They're going with the expectation of this is going to be a good starting point for newcomers.
Right. Yeah. No, that's the vibe I get for sure. And yeah, the system in this is way more up my alley than regular Yakuza, even though I'm enjoying regular Yakuza, but like it's probably telling that I'm not that far in Yakuza 0 and I'm already getting kind of over the whole beat 'em up thing, but Yakuza is still fun enough to carry me through. But like this looks more up my alley. We'll have to see how they nail it.
Yep. So also important is the wording might be a little different, so you might be able to interpret it differently, but it's saying launching on Xbox Series X. So I'm thinking that might mean it's coming out on like at or around launch day. Nice. So we get an idea of when this is coming out.
More games for that time.
That's gonna be a bloodbath. We're gonna have to make some choices. We might have to do kind of like Easy Allies and any other people do, and kind of depending select games,
divide and conquer.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously,
we'll see how it goes.
And the final game, the big headliner, the one they promoted for a week leading up to it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, with its gameplay trailer.
This is one of the most just puzzling, like what could the mindset possibly have been things or whatever, and we are being very wordy in this podcast. But what I mean, because it's not just the leading up to for a week thing, there were at least 3 different times during this thing where they popped up and was like, stay tuned for Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, like over and over again. It was almost overt. It was like, yes, shut up. I get it. You're going to show Assassin's Creed gameplay. I'm like, cool. People are excited or whatever. And then you get here and it's like, this could have just been the launch trailer. Like this could have served as a launch trailer. It was just like, here's some landscape shots. Here's some Vikings. Here's some boats, and here's the ocean, and here's a logo. Bye. And like I even compare that to, I should go back and watch it to make sure I'm completely right on this, but like from what I remember at E3, like the reveal of Odyssey, they had the trailer, but then they also had, okay, now here's the person like storming the beach, and they were actually like fighting people and like showing gameplay and stuff. It's just like, I don't know why. Like there was already, like of course we were expecting that. Why would we not be expecting that when you hype up gameplay?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're just going with it's gameplay in the sense of it's in engine and showing very edited and camera move shots of gameplay moments. But yeah, not what they know what we expected when they said gameplay. They know that.
It was only like a minute and a half.
Yeah. I mean, everyone had the exact same reaction. Like, it kind of, they do the logo thing or whatever, and then it does the shot of the Raven going on his shoulders. Like, okay, they're going to get into it here, and then it just stops, and you're like, is that it? Then they go to the interview with the director, and you're like, that was it?
It's pretty insane. And because it's not like Assassin's Creed is such a freaking known quantity at this point. You gotta show us a little more. And even you don't even have to show us a little more. Just don't say that it's gonna be a gameplay reveal. Yeah, it's just puzzling. It's there was no one on the team that's like, hey, maybe we should change this wording a bit. Yep, it's odd. Oh, well. I mean, this is going to be something that we just kind of forget about. I don't think this is going to be like some giant death blow to Xbox, but it was definitely, they had a good opportunity here to take a step ahead, and I don't think they quite did that. You hate to see it.
Well, speaking of Xbox, this kind of goes along with it, so we kind of mentioned it, but let's talk about the rest of the information. A couple days before this, they announced Xbox 2020, which is going to be what they're doing once a month, or at least once a month until the launch of the console. They're going to have some kind of little presentation announcement thing, whatever they just
something.
Yeah, this month was the Inside Xbox. July, they said, is going to be the first party updates, where they show a whole bunch of first party shit, and we know for. They mentioned, I believe, Halo obviously going to be there. They mentioned Double Fine and Ninja Theory, and I got a solid thing from Tim Schafer where he said Psychonauts in particular is going to be there. I know that's kind of an obvious thing, but part of me, may doubted it could have been there because they may want to focus on just the Series X games, and that we didn't know if that was going to be Series X or not.
Right.
It's probably going to be cross-gen at this point, but you never know.
Yeah, but
and Fable, right, Darby? Right.
I refuse to get my hopes up.
Yes.
So, I mean, has this event made you concerned about the remainder of these events in every month?
No.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
I couldn't tell if that was a yeah or no.
Not necessarily. I mean, we'll have to see what it. But so here's my thing, and this kind of goes into with what we just got for Inside Xbox. So this was a third-party event, and I applaud them for highlighting smaller games, because the big third-party games, which people were expecting and wanting, they're going to get shown and eyes on them no matter when they're announced at this point.
Yeah.
And they might have had a couple more in there, and then those developers decided, E3's not really a thing. We just post this shit whenever now. We don't necessarily need to, and then just have the whole day to ourselves at this point.
The only thing I would fight back on that is again, it's messaging, but this was all like this was supposed to be the Xbox Series X gameplay reveal thing or whatever, and I don't think this event, this stuff like quite lived up to that. I mean, it definitely, we got some of it. We got a little bit of that hype or whatever, but it didn't like quite, But yeah, I generally agree, because I generally think that this event, I think, was generally fine in a vacuum. It just was presented terribly. I have more faith that, the hardware reveal is going to be a hardware reveal. It's going to be kind of boring. It's not going to be anything that fun. But on first party, I think that they are at least conceptually, they at least should have enough at the bare minimum to have a decent show. And then if they have another surprise on top of that, like Fable, another big surprise on that, then like
something that I want to throw and it isn't a surprising thing to say, but they did say in the thing for the July thing specifically, they are going to be new game announcements.
Yeah, that's good.
So
and that, who knows how small that is, but like I'm saying, even if all the new game announcements end up being like small and kind of insignificant, I still think that they have enough there to make,
based on what we know, and mainly for me personally, like, we see Halo Infinite, that's definitely going to be there. We're going to see a good bit of that. That's a good thing right there. We get that Fable announcement, hopefully, or something of that caliber. And for me personally, it's Psychonauts 2 had those sleeves there, and they all look good. I'm satisfied personally, and then everything else will be really bonus. Like, let's say maybe we see a little more of Hellblade. That'd also be neat.
Yeah, which we probably will see something of that if the Ninja Theory's there. And I almost hope that, like, the Game Awards, like the Honey Yes Shark and the Kids, and whatever the other one, like the Obsidian, or not that one Game Awards, whatever that was, whatever Inside Xbox, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, when they had the Obsidian game and something else. I'm hoping those were kind of like, okay, these are the small projects that we're working on. Let's get them out of the way and save room for fucking Fable or whatever else, you know.
As far as new game announcement, I'm curious to see about that Rare project they announced where you're talking about.
The deer. Yeah. Whatever. Don't remember his
name.
Good
to see more about that.
Something about the wild or something. I don't know.
Yep. So that could be fun. And they haven't announced the June thing yet. I imagine it's going to be like, you were mentioning the hardware thing. I imagine that's going to be it where they go over release date and price and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple little more fun things.
Yeah, I'm calling my shot here. It will not be a fun watch, but
no,
the information will be.
It's information we want, and they're already telling us when we're going to get all the first party information. So we're going to be like, okay,
nope.
If we get the date and the price, I imagine me and you will be satisfied.
Yeah, at least we're not going to be going into that expecting game announcements and stuff. We'll know what we're going into that.
Yep. Summer's Game Fest Derby from Jeff Keighley. He announced it last week. This is pretty much just a big hub where he will announce with all the big announcements and presentations and all that kind of fun stuff. And he will also show exclusive stuff like game announcements. The first one being this Tuesday. Don't get your hopes up for Batman. And there will be demos. This whole thing will go from May to August and will end in his Gamescom event on August 24th.
Dope shit.
So yeah, this what I was saying about the game announcement on Tuesday. People ask Batman. He's like, no Batman, but it's a cool and fun game. So Batman's not fun.
That's what. Yeah, Jeff Keighley thinks that Batman is not fun.
Yeah. Some events that have already been announced for this include Cyberpunk 2077 will have their Night City Wire broadcast on June 11th, and also on June 11th, EA will have an EA Play broadcast at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to show off their games. I'm much more excited about the whole thing that's only showing one game.
It's telling.
Yeah. I'm sure if we're not doing anything, we'll watch the EA thing. If we're just,
But I'll watch their whole Cyberpunk press conferences
5 times.
Just like, give me the tour.
Give me everything.
For the next 6 hours. Actually, I wouldn't watch that because I want to play the game.
Yeah. So how do you feel the whole Jeff Keighley thing?
I think it's cool. It's interesting that, like, I'm interested to see how this goes. The fact that it's not like one thing, it's more of a hub of different things. Like, that's a very interesting concept. I'm wondering how needed that is and how much we're actually going to like correlate these things together, since like it doesn't even seem like all of these things are like Keighley led. It's just
I mean, based on those texts that Will sent us, he had no idea what the Xbox thing was even
right.
So
yeah, that makes me feel like are we really going to, is this whole branding really gonna mean much to us as the summer goes along, or is it more because like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Like, how often are we going to be visiting Summer Game Fest Twitter and stuff like that? You know, like how often are we just going to be like, oh, it's the next event, let's watch that event? Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm more interested in like the individual events and like interested in what he has for like Gamescom and stuff like that. But I mean, this is me just like not really knowing. Maybe once we get into this, it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, with the Summer Game Fest, Jeff is doing like a game announcement every week or something, and like it actually ends up being some big announcement. So like I end up, we end up having like, okay, there's this event, but then there's also the Summer Game Fest games. You know, I don't know. It's kind of it's a wait and see approach.
Well,
it's such a different concept. Yeah. It's hard to
at the very least, even when it's just a hub thing. That's useful in the sense of we just go there and we see pretty much all the big gaming things that could happen.
Yeah,
like we have a nice simplified calendar of all the big stuff that is happening and all that, and where all the bigger game announcements are. And then he's throwing stuff in like those game announcements he's going to be doing himself, and his little game fest or whatever, where he's going to have demos on Steam and apparently an Xbox as well.
That is cool. That is definitely cool.
So. at the very least, worst case scenario, it's like, okay, it's just there and we get a couple other tidbits.
Oh, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be a bad thing. I just wonder, like, I could see a reality where this is not something that comes back next year, because it's just something that's like, oh yeah, Keeley did that weird thing, but.
Or potentially, depending.
But it could be like, I'm not completely shitting on it. It's like, I just don't know.
I mean, it could potentially, depending on, maybe regardless of how this goes, it grows bigger next year because people will have the year to kind of put something behind this and not just kind of thrown together at the last minute.
Yeah. Which is, obviously, Keeley he's like, all right, someone start working on a website.
Yep.
Because everything's falling apart.
Darby, I hear you like Mortal Kombat.
I am fond of the Mortal Kombats.
Well, Darby, do I have news for you? NetherRealm has announced Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. It's a new expansion with new shit. A new story expansion. 3 new DLC characters, including Fusion, Shiva, and RoboCop.
Say what?
Yes, RoboCop.
There's not many more 80s action movies that they could get.
No! And also, that's not all. Free updates for every user. That includes new stages, stage fatalities, and friendships.
That's what we really needed. Was the friendships.
And the whole expansion pass can be yours for the low price of $40.
Pretty much the price of a whole new damn video game.
Yes. Okay. So,
obviously,
big update.
Very, very, very big update. I am just, if anyone is tuning in to us for the first time, I'm sorry if I'm about to make you mad, but I hold the kind of very minority opinion that the Mortal Kombat story is not good and I don't enjoy playing it. Even though I love the game, it's just the story is so far from what I care about that, like, I'm not going to play this story because I just don't give a shit. So I am going to be a little bummed if, like, these characters are the characters and stage and everything else other than the story is held hostage under a $40 price tag for something that, like, that $40 price tag is primarily because of a mode that I don't give a shit about.
The good news, you'll get the stages and that stuff.
You will get the stages.
Then that's all free for all users.
That's good.
The only thing that you would be missing, and they're going to sell it separately, I would imagine. I can't imagine they're not. No. Because all the, like, packs or whatever.
How much are they normally individually?
Like $5.
That's what I would assume, but everything in Mortal Kombat's expensive as hell. So yeah, hopefully I can just spend $15 and have the fighters.
Well, as far as the story thing, I did not play Mortal Kombat 11 really much in general, besides a couple matches with you, so I'm not even going to give this a try, obviously. I haven't played the original.
Play the original story.
So,
you would probably like the original story. Don't let me hold you back. I just already didn't care going in, and then I know people love the cheesiness. I love the cheesiness too, but it didn't even fit that for me. That's a whole other conversation. But you would probably like it.
But what I do like about the story thing, based on what you see, it's pretty much just focused on the DLC characters. So you're really just playing as them for the most part.
That is good,
including these characters. Maybe not RoboCop, but Fusion and Shiva are a big part of the story.
I hope RoboCop's in it.
I would love that. That'd be great. Put in all those characters in there. Fuck it.
Who gives a shit?
They're messing with timelines and shit. Who cares? But yeah, that part of it's cool. And I think I did see a confirmation that all 3 of the DLC characters will be out the day this thing comes out, which I believe is the 25th. Or 26th, around there.
26th of when?
May.
Wow. Okay, so all 3 of them are going to be out there? That's cool.
I do. That week, maybe like the 20th or something. Somewhere in that range. I probably should have looked it up. I can look that up real quick.
That's dope.
So yeah, I think all of them, which makes sense considering Fusion and Shiva are in the story.
Yeah.
And playable.
Are they? Oh, you mean in the Aftermath story? Okay,
in the Aftermath story. Yeah. May 26th.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah.
Cool stuff, yeah. New stages, which is nice. We know of at least 2.
I honestly thought that Spawn was going to be the last DLC character for this game. And I was already going to say with Spawn, it's like, this is a big roster. But now, like, 3 more, this is a really big roster.
Yeah. Wonder how big a Justice League's going to get to.
Yeah, I love this game. I really need to go back in and play Joker and Spawn, which I have not gotten to yet.
I need to mess around with it. Just stuff in general. I'll just play yours. I'm not going to worry about getting new DLC characters.
Yeah.
Time to talk about Last of Us for a little bit, Darby.
We
We got a new trailer, which we watched, and you can watch our reaction to and our Late to the Party series where we play Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, it's episode 6 of our Super Mario RPG stream. I mean, we watch trailers at the very beginning of it, so I guess if you just want to go to that video, watch trailers, and then peace out. Go for it.
Yes. Trailers released. I don't think it's too much to say about that. It was just simple story stuff.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a really well-made, well-paced trailer.
Not crazy spoilery if you know you people were avoiding it for that reason.
I was very cautious, but like I think it's good. It's just more like vibes, and it shows you things completely out of context that you would never know. It's just like they're really good at pacing. Like I was getting goosebumps. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this. I think I'm probably gonna start a replay of the original, like probably this week.
Yes. Yeah. And Sony also identified the leaker of all those Last of Us leaks.
And Jeff, I think it's time to say that it was you. I think it's time to say it. Jeff is the one that did it. The giraffes do take over the world. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And how dare you?
I'm sorry. I just got so mad when I was able to hack into their stuff, which obviously I can do.
When you hacked into Jack and Daxter on the PS2, and that's all you needed to do.
That's all I needed to do, and then I was able to get in there and find out that Ellie dies within the first 10 minutes, and then you play as Joel for like another 15 minutes, and then you play as Jerry the Giraffe.
Yes, that is the majority of the game.
Which, as you all know, is the giraffe from the original Last of Us.
Mm-hmm. And he's old and ready for vengeance now.
Yes. So well,
they identified it, and it's not an employee. It is like
no one
outside,
that's involved with Sony or Naughty Dog.
Yeah, all those rumors were bullshit.
Bullshit. So yeah. Then we got some event cancellations. Because coronavirus and stuff. We get a lot of these. Yeah, you all know. Both Tokyo Game Show and EVO have been canceled and will be replaced by online events. Tokyo Game Show for us, that doesn't really mean much of anything. I think we're gonna get to online anyway. Yeah. Which all these shows were going. So unfortunate.
EVO is definitely another thing because EVO is still happening in an online format. Which, I mean, I can't pretend that you're even more of a fighting game person than I am, and even you're not like super duper invested in the online community. But people who are way more knowledgeable in this have pointed out that like pretty much all the EVO games this year have pretty bad online in some way.
Yeah, even another. As far as which one's the best? We follow Maximilian Dude, who's the big fighting game YouTuber. You can point the best is probably Street Fighter V, and its online isn't great.
Yeah, it's just passable.
Yeah, and then there's Smash Ultimate. Enough said. Enough said.
And whenever you get to the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, bar none, that has big prize money, normally we can talk about that, but big prize money and everything, and then you have potential online issues that could get controversial real quick.
Yep. And
So are you expecting any games changes and substitutions?
Yeah, I can't remember what they've said, if they've opened themselves up to that. I can see some of it, they might look at it. I think they've gone ahead and returned everyone's participation fees, so they're not beholden necessarily to that. It's we pay money to participate in this game. That's not a really thing right now, based on my understanding. I can see them maybe changing a couple of the smaller ones.
I
don't know with what necessarily. Well, a game we were just talking about, Mortal Kombat 11, which is a pretty dang big fighting game, actually has good online. Especially compared to the rest of these.
It's so funny how that came around. It was such a big event that it's EVO and Mortal Kombat are breaking up pretty much. And then immediately a few weeks later, it's hey, Mortal Kombat, can you go? Which we don't know where that relationship went down. We don't know if it's Warner Brother not wanting to be involved with it, wanting to do their own thing, if it was EVO going away from it, or mutual. We don't really know.
So what I'm saying is they need to get the game they should have had in there in the beginning and get Power Rangers in there. This online is pretty solid.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I feel pretty confident about is that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is probably out.
Yep, because they were playing on the Dreamcast version, and even the one version that is online, the 360 version, I believe, is the one you look at. Yeah. You got to get a physical copy, which are going on eBay for like hundreds of dollars. Yep. And especially after this announcement, it probably skyrocketed because they knew.
I know. Oh, they're going to be trying to ship these out to people.
Yeah.
Better buy them. Yeah. I don't know. It's not a great situation. I mean, I'm glad that something is still happening, but I hope there's not big controversies. I hope it doesn't end up blowing up in their face.
Sonic's going to win Smash.
And I think, wasn't it you that talked about how there might be prize problems too? Because like,
I think it was Alex that brought up that the prize things might be different and everything. And if that is the case, like, is the individual companies, Nintendo not really wanting to get prizes? We'll give a golden Pro controller or some shit.
I'm sure a lot of people do that. I'm good, peace.
I don't feel like dealing with Smash Ultimates online for a tournament.
I don't feel like preparing for this tournament just for a Pro controller. Yeah. Yeah.
Shame.
All right, well, let's close out this podcast with a big
sales time, Darby. Sales time.
Big sales time, though, Jeff. It's my favorite time of the year.
We got that Nintendo financial report for the fiscal year, Darby.
I wish other companies would do sales this detailed. It's just
so much detailed stuff that I'm not even putting a lot of in there. There's a lot of extra information, like I could have potentially put here, like, our release dates might change and stuff because of COVID-19. We don't know. Stuff like that. We are planning more games for this year. All that stuff people are using for big headlines, like no doubt there's stuff's happening. But we like those numbers, Darby. Those hard numbers. So let's talk about the sales of the actual Switch console. Switch sold 3.29 million this quarter, which is January through March of this year, making lifetime totals 55.77 million. And also, which I like, 6.17 million of those are Switch Lite.
That's pretty decent number. That's crazy. That is a fast selling console.
Yeah, I think it bumped up now above the NES and SNES, I believe. It jumped those.
Yeah, or I think at the very least those are the next up and they're very close.
Yeah. So and potentially by next year, if it has a really good another year like this, it'd be like right behind the 3DS, which is like 76 million.
I wonder if it's still outpacing the PS4 for its time frame. I mean, that does seem like a fast 55.77 million.
I'm gonna go with currently yes, because this exceeded their expectations and it was exceeding it with their expectations in check. Yeah. So I'm going to say currently, I think it's outpacing it.
Yeah, which is the opposite from last year where they slightly overshot it. But yeah, it's crazy.
Right. And also I got this because of the fiscal year. 21.03 million of that 55 million was just in the last 12 months. April of last year through March of this year, which is crazy and exceeded their expectations for it. And speaking of expectations, they have currently the expectations for this current fiscal year to be 19 million sold.
Nice. So they're still under. I remember last year it was 20 million. They didn't hit it. Now they did hit. Yes, the 20.
They exceeded, which is nice.
Yep.
Okay, so Switch selling great. It's probably going to continue to sell great for the foreseeable future.
How many of those were like? How many Switches have Animal Crossing now sold? Now in this next one, I wish I could just directly see that.
Yep. So Darby, let's talk about individual games. We got a pretty good list here. Some of this we'll just kind of say and then move on, but we can get a little talking out of some of these. Okay, besides one exception, which I will point out, all of these are lifetime sales through March 2020.
Okay.
And again, I'll point out the exception to this. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, I'm just pretty much saying these in order of sales.
Yeah, I gotta get some air moving, but continue.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 24.77 million. That's a lot. I think if you combine, I believe, just Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think Mario Kart 8 is now the best selling, just the 8 one, the best selling Mario Kart.
I could
or at least right there. Because I think it's like 33 million for Mario Kart Wii.
Okay.
Which I think Kart 8 could potentially hit that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's not like this thing has slowed down at all. I mean, it's still in the top 10.
I think that's always sold about 2 million just this past quarter.
I mean, it's... And the more people that keep getting Switches, I mean, this is a game that like everyone who has a Switch pretty much.
It's the easy go-to one for a multiplayer game. Like,
I mean, just think,
who doesn't enjoy Mario Kart?
I mean, it has about half of Switch owners have this game. Just an attach rate.
Yep. Next game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with 18.84 million.
Nice, which is also very nice. I think Animal Crossing is going top.
Oh yeah, no.
Animal Crossing is going to be the second highest.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is untouchable. But yeah, other than that, Super Mario Odyssey 17.41 million, and I'm just going to throw in the next game, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, also 17.41 million.
Interesting.
They are the exact same.
That's weird. So like, there's been. That I was about to say both of them. Isn't that a decent bump up from last time we had these? Like,
yes, I believe both of them. This past quarter, both of them were roughly a million. Odyssey slightly below. Breath of the Wild slightly above. Mario's been ahead for a long time, but Breath of the Wild has been catching up because it has been selling more.
I was about to say, like, Zelda must have been having an uptick in sales.
I mean, you know. I just kind of been noticing on the NPDs, a lot of times Breath of the Wild was on there, but Odyssey wasn't.
Interesting.
And there's only one territory, but I think it is telling.
It's just interesting because I feel like that doesn't happen very often, that like one game was always behind this other one, but it like catches up. You know, like that's interesting.
Also, I think Breath of the Wild now has like almost doubled the amount of sales of any other Zelda game. Like, even if you combine all because this Breath of the Wild one's only the Switch version. It's like another like 2 million or so for the Wii U version, I believe.
Yeah. So
that's probably about 20 million.
It's wild what that Switch bump has done for like every series.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild, in Odyssey for 3D Mario, it's significantly more than the next selling one. No, it's not necessarily more than best selling like 2D Mario's, but for 3D Mario it's huge.
Yeah.
Pokemon Sword and Shield right behind that with 17.37.
So it's interesting to see that all three of those games are like right at the same exact sales.
So Pokemon's might pass those. Probably gonna pass those next time.
Okay, I thought you just meant in general. I'm like, yes. I mean, obviously, yes.
Yeah. On pace to be the second best-selling Pokemon game combo, whatever the hell you want to call it, only behind the original Red and Blue, which I believe is that 32-ish million.
Is that counting like re-releases of Red and Blue?
I think it would count like 3DS release, not counting like the GBA remakes, because those are counted separately.
Yeah.
I believe the one right behind Red and Blue is Gold and Silver, or the Ruby and Sapphire. One of those at like 24 million. It's projected to pass those, and I believe it. Especially since they'll actually still be promoting this game for at least another year.
And it's getting DLC,
exactly.
very soon.
Unlike any other of these games, they're promoting it longer through DLC and all this stuff.
I mean, it's Pokemon. It's not going to stop selling. We're still in the first year of it being
out. We talked about it. A lot of the times, even with all these normal Pokemon games, by this time, most times, they kind of cut it at his legs a little bit because they announce another game, whether it be a remake or the third version or something. They're not doing it with this one, so this is going to continue being the game longer than all other ones.
I think this will be number 3, but it's so bizarre. I really do think Animal Crossing is going to be number 2, and this is going to be number 3.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, this is the one where it's not just through March. In its first 6 weeks, so through April,
Okay.
Yeah.
These
are pretty current. It sold 13.41 million in its first 6 weeks, and it is the best-selling game of the franchise. Let me pull up a little graph to tell you how the sales compare.
13.41 in 6 weeks.
In similar time frames, the last two Animal Crossings have sold roughly 2 to 3 million in its first 6 weeks.
13.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep. I'm honestly surprised it's not higher. Also, here's an interesting little tidbit I read from their financial reports or the meetings or whatever. This apparently exceeds Nintendo's projections for this game in its lifetime. I'm like, you guys underprojected for this game. What were you thinking was going to sell?
Wow.
Like, how can you look at the sales for literally like any of your other games and be like, this is going to sell just barely above New Leaf?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely would. I definitely would have expected, obviously more than this lifetime.
I think 15 was its floor,
but definitely like coronavirus, like without like the situation.
As John Oliver said, Nintendo planned
Nintendo engineered coronavirus to sell Animal Crossing, and it worked. But 13.41 million in 6 weeks is so far above what I would have ever expected. If you had said, like, Darby, what's it gonna sell in this time frame? It'd be like a lot, like 7 million. It's going to be doing real good. 13.41 is pretty fucking bonkers. For like, we're still in the launch window area.
Yep.
So, I mean, I can kind of believe it. I mean, yeah, 13.41 is maybe a little low when you're just looking at, like, Pokemon already being at 17 or whatever. But, you know, I wouldn't have expected to be sitting here saying very confidently that Animal Crossing is going to beat Pokemon. Not really what I expected. I expected Pokemon to probably be pretty comfortably ahead. Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah, unless Animal Crossing just stops for some reason, but...
I will be kind of surprised if Animal Crossing is not like any of the other ones and just kind of a constantly selling thing. Going to be an evergreen title for the Switch.
Word of mouth, and like they're going to hopefully have lots of events going on for a long time, even though Nintendo's kind of bad about just supporting their games for a year and then being like, all right, bye. You know, just like with Splatoon and so many other ones.
Yeah. They got to at least do a year because they need the seasonal events.
I'm just worried that they won't go much further than that. But we'll see.
Next one, Pokemon Let's Go, 11.97 million. Okay. Next one, Splatoon 2, 10.13 million. Splatoon got to that 10 million mark for a game. It's crazy how much of a success this Splatoon is, especially compared to a lot of Nintendo's franchises they've tried to.
Yeah, and it's like kind of for like how it's somewhat quietly been that successful. I feel like people don't talk about Splatoon 2 enough for how much it's like.
I do think a part of that is to us because Splatoon, more than most franchises, even Nintendo ones, is a big thing in Japan.
Yeah, huge.
So we're not going to hear about it as much, even though it was this big compared to other comparable size franchises.
Yeah, I need to jump into that game.
So good.
I think I would really enjoy like just like doing multiplayer matches and kind of Overwatch style, like learning the like
Darby,
what to do when.
I would love because Olivia's pretty much been saying what you just said for a while. Like if you both jump in and like maybe even talk Alex in, and we just have a 4-person squad.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
that'd be a lot of. Plus, the single player is great. Yeah, especially when you get into the expansion.
Yeah.
Single player, it's fantastic.
It's interesting. It definitely seems like there's strategy. You can, you know, people get good at Splatoon. You know.
Also, I'm gonna make a prediction for the next Smash Brothers game. We are getting an playable Octoling, and I could see it being an Isabelle style clone. Okay, not an Echo. They just do that because Splatoon is too big at this point.
It's a new.
Because just a fun fact, like as someone pointed out, Splatoon 2 has sold more than the highest selling entries in the Metroid, Star Fox, and F-Zero franchises combined.
Yeah, all of those like Metroid, Star Fox, and F-Zero, all of those like hold a bigger place in our heart than they actually do in sales. Like,
you know. Like people need to temper their expectations for Metroid Prime a little bit as far as like how much it could potentially sell.
Oh, sell wise. Yeah.
Not quality. No, I'm not never gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't know why I would have assumed quality, but like, I agree with you. Yeah, no, it's not gonna be.
I think it'll break records, but I don't think it'll be as big as people kind of make it out.
It's gonna be like a Fire Emblem Three Houses level of sales, so like 2.5 million or something.
Maybe a little bit,
maybe a little higher,
depending.
But yeah, that is what Fire Emblem was about. It, and then like maybe
we'll get to that a little later, Darby.
Oh, is it on here? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Well, everything's on here.
Yeah. So yeah, Splatoon's that's crazy, and I saw a list. Only about a dozen Nintendo franchises have a 10 million plus.
Yeah. That's
and
esteemed,
and at least a third of them are Mario Friends spinoffs.
Speaking of Mario spinoffs,
Super Mario Party 10.1 million. I have no idea where this is in the echelon of Mario parties, but it's got to be at the top or close to it.
You had a 10 million seller, so why the fuck did you not support this game?
Because they didn't have to, and it would sell 10 million. We know for next time.
I know, yeah. Next time a Mario Party is announced, I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, but I've been burned too many times in a row. Like, you really got to sell me on this shit.
I agree. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, we're jumping down a good bit at 6.6 million. That's why they make these ports, because they can put one out and then sell 6.5 million. Yep. Luigi's Mansion 3, 6.33 million, baby. Yeah, it's good for this
Luigi.
game.
Yeah, very good for that game.
Such a good game.
I think we would have, if it sold 3 million, we would have been like, hey, good job, Luigi.
Good job, Luigi. But
this is.
Super Mario Maker 2, 5.48 million, baby.
Yeah, ironically, this is around the same level, and I feel the complete opposite. Like, this is way underperforming for what.
I think the main reason, like, me and you say this is because we know the sales of Mario Maker, and it was roughly this number on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And when everything else is breaking records for the respective franchises,
this is doing the same numbers.
Yeah.
It's a problem. And it sucks because we've said this over and over again, but the quality is not the problem whatsoever. It was their marketing and just the way they did everything, and Mario Maker stayed in everyone's mind with the constant updates, even if it's like Baby Metal has a playable skin in there. Yeah, it's weird as fuck. It's like I don't know. Yeah, that's such a bummer that like it got like no bump, and you look at everything else, like Nintendo has not really had many misses.
Yeah,
Switch and. I would not have expected Mario Maker 2 to be where the miss comes from, sales-wise. Whereas Luigi's Mansion 3 is like doubling what I thought, but Mario Maker 2 is just hovering it.
I'm so happy. I'm bummed about the Mario Maker sales, but I'm so happy about Luigi's Mansion. It's such a good game. So deserved. Big deserved sales. Link's Awakening, 4.38 million. Those aren't like crazy numbers necessarily, but 2D Zelda. Good, good.
Pretty
good. I think it's up there as far as 2D Zelda sales.
Nice, yeah.
And the whole thing. Probably definitely got a bump from Breath of the Wild. It's like, oh look, a new Zelda game.
Yep,
yeah, it's good. Fire Emblem Three Houses, 2.87 million. I don't know if it's completely beat Fates yet with the combined sales. I think I saw someone say it may not have completely beaten that yet.
Let's see that cheaper. A lot more 3DSs, but and also I mean 3 Houses, don't get me wrong, 2.87 million is really good for what 3 Houses was and for the Fire Emblem franchise in general, obviously. But like I do think I think some people were like kind of surprised that Fire Emblem wasn't more than that. I think Fire Emblem was a little sales wise felt a little overblown to us because I think just the gaming. Like the hardcore gaming scene and the gaming journalists and stuff were like in love with this game, and like that was all they talked about, and I think that kind of made people think that it was a little more popular than it was. No, but again, not that it's bad, it's super popular, but like I think a lot of people thought that like, oh, this is the game that's selling everything, where I think it's more like it sold to hardcore people.
Yeah. Fire Emblem, just the basis on what kind of genre it is, kind of has a ceiling.
It does, yeah.
That is lower than a lot of these franchises. Next game, Ring Fit Adventure, 2.73 million.
Probably could be higher if people could get their hands on it.
Yeah, I think that's something specifically they said in all these, in their like little meeting. It's like, we want to get Ring Fit Adventure out there because So Darby, another prediction, as long as depending what they go, Refit Adventurer will be a Smash character in the next game.
It's crazy how much people apparently really want that game. I mean, obviously quarantine's helping that a lot, so that definitely might become a thing.
Definitely more than I thought. Like I kind of figured this might have been like top out at $1 million.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a peter out. Like, that was a cool, weird thing Nintendo did that kind of just went off and died.
Yep, people love it. People obviously want it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not where I was expected. All right, let's take this home.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, 1.26 million copies. I think that's fine for that. I don't know the rest of the game, but it's
neither
a budget Pokemon
under.
Spin-off.
Yeah,
that's in a niche genre.
I am not over or under on that. It's kind of like, sure.
Now here's the thing where we have the same number for two different games to close this out, but my how I feel it does for each game is completely different. Astral Chain, 1.08 million. I think that is good for this game.
Yeah,
its genre and its obvious budget and all that. It's this game. We're talking about Fire Emblem having a ceiling. This game had a ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen a world where it was a tad bit more than this, but not a lot. You know, like I don't think this is like breaking through the ceiling. It's a massive hit. I think it could have done better, but I think Platinum has to be happy with over $1 million.
No. They've straight up said that they're very pleased with the sales of this game.
Yeah,
but then we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which has the exact same number, and I have to imagine that is disappointing.
I think anything that has the Marvel name on it selling only $1 million, I think that becomes a little red box on a Disney spreadsheet that they're like, what's this? Get this out of here.
No, again, it's kind of same number, but kind of different. Like, I feel kind of good we could get an Astral Chain 2. I feel like it took so long to get a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and that will be all people get.
I agree.
Yep.
That's a bummer. It's just too big of a name.
Yep.
Should have sold more. It needed to sell more to continue, most likely.
Yep.
But it was kind of a busy time it came out in, for what I remember, and some other things.
That's part that didn't sell a little more just on the Marvel name alone.
I am too,
because people kind of like things like a nice little casual thing. But.
Yeah. I think it just never really broke out to the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think most people probably were not aware this game existed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And there were less Switches then. Still a lot. I mean, it still could have sold more, but yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a podcast. Didn't think this one was going to get to the 2 hour, but we got there.
We'll find a way.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Look forward to our 2 hour TPO podcast next week, because we'll find a way.
God bless Tipo.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Check out all of our other stuff. Check out our Super Mario RPG stream that we're doing. Check out our Final Fantasy VII Spoilercast with Chad Michael Ennis from Rumi Spawn Main Fire. And we are working on a cool new series that I'm not going to talk about now, but teasing.
I'm putting together a betting special for the summer game shit.
He's doing that. We're going to have Mr. William Outlaw and Mr. Jacob Hamill reunited over Discord, because we gotta be safe, and because Will is very far away.
Yes.
And it's gonna be a good time. All right. Peace.